Good evening. My name is Taylor Murphy. I'm at the University of Incarnate Word. I am a senior in the meteorology program. And today I'm going to be talking to you about microplastics through my group project of Glitter, the Problem with Litter. This is a 3-part series done by my other associates, Samara Trevino and Caitlin Hernandez. So what are microplastics? Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic that are less than 5 milliliters. Annually, about 359 million plastics are produced yearly, and about 40 of those end up in the waterway systems. Microplastics are very similar to rock erosions, but basically what happens is that rocks go through a system, they're eroded over time, and eventually they saltify. Microplastics do not. They are eroded by the water, but eventually they have a stopping point, which is why they're such a big issue. It does take about 20 to 500 years for them to completely dissolve or disintegrate, and even then we are not sure if that's what they do. Microplastics are everywhere, especially in waterway systems and in oceans, and they're harmful to marine life, ecosystems, and animal life. And they're also harmful to human beings. Microplastics come from larger pieces of plastics, or they're manufactured like microbeads or glitter, or they're found in clothing fibers, which are, the semi-thin aesthetics, and that's the most common kind of microplastics. As I was saying before, this is a life cycle that they go through, and microplastics are so small that they can actually be transported by air and end up in clouds and come down as precipitation like rain and snow. Over to your right, you'll see a picture from 2015 that showed the pollution and the littering from Fiesta. And each year, San Antonio River Authority has said that it's gotten worse. So here's a picture of Texas and why it's so important. We're number 10, and we are connected to the San Antonio Nueces River, which means that it outlets into the ocean, which can cause a big problem. And that's why it's very important for us as San Antonians to minimize our impact to the ecosystems. So some studies that were done, Texas State did one. They sampled 419 fish, and they were recorded to have microplastics, especially in fish that were around large cities. They had higher quantities. And in Boulder, Colorado, and in the Blue Ridge area, they did a study also on rainwater, and that showed that there was polyfibers and shards. And the study was done by United States Geology Survey. Another study shows that there was airborne particles in France of 2017 that indicated that humans are actually breathing in microplastics, about 1 to 60 fibers for indoors and about 0.3 to 1.5 fibers outdoors. And about 33% of the indoor particles actually contain chemicals in addition to the microplastics that were harmful to humans. And so some mitigations we can do is recycling, avoiding single-use plastics, avoiding polyester and semi-synthetic products, avoiding microbeads and glitters and makeup products. And then of course, the most important thing that you should take away from this is to volunteer for your San Antonio River Authority to clean up our waterways. And so that way, like I said earlier, we can minimize our impacts, and that way microplastics don't affect our ecosystem, especially the one we have here in San Antonio. Thank you, and this will conclude my briefing.